this is Dalen75 Games. Welcome back to another Let's Roleplay of Dragon Age Origins. I am the human noble Aiden Kuzlin, currently in camp, and
Something you need? I'm sure either my boy or I can help you out.
I'd like to ask Bodan if he's heard any rumors.
Stories are circulating about a Grey Warden forming a new army. Not Loghain, not the Banorn, but something else. Oral House says this new army would just add to the chaos, but nobody's listening to him anymore. You wouldn't know anything about that, I assume. Huh? I thought not. That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. Take it for what it is.
Mages and, well, any of the bands that'll stand up to Loghain and fight the Darkspawn, yeah. Heard any other rumors?
I heard a story today. Bangrain put her own fields to the torch, rather than let Loghain's men feed off them. 3 of them died in the flames. Some of the soldiers got angry and chased the woman down in her own manner, putting a sword through her. Without permission, is the excuse we're told. Loghain killed Grain's husband at Winter's Breath. She had a right to do with her crop as she pleased. This is still for Eldon, isn't it? Freeholder answers to no one. That's what I've heard on the road, anyhow. Take it for what it is.
Wow. Okay, yeah, should go.
Of course. Good fortune to you and yours.
Goodbye.
Shale, what do you have to say? That's what he has to say. What's with the heavy sighs?
Oh, that. Merely reflecting on the hopeless nature of the task in front of it. The most likely outcome is that it and its companions will become a stain on some rock for the Darkspawn to tread upon. I shall be moved to a single tear by the tragedy.
Glad to know you care, at least.
It's true. One single tear, and then it's off to the north, I think. Or maybe west. I haven't decided. What's that? Did it hear flapping wings? There may be pigeons nearby. We should be alert.
Oh, Shale. You're funny.
Ugh.
Again. I would have expected golems to be different.
Different? Different than what? Different than a statue? Different than a log? Should I talk in a monotone? Yes, Master, I exist to serve the Master. I shall kill for the Master and only for the Master. Perhaps it expected me to have a booming voice. Recite limericks. I can recite limericks, if it likes.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
I have never met another golem. I have no idea what one might be like, or why I wouldn't be like them. Why? Has it met other golems? Did they not sound as I do?
You just seem very animated.
I don't know what other golems might be like, but I am already superior by virtue of my free will. This is a good thing.
A control rod could always be fixed. I agree, being a golem would be handy.
Imagine the benefits. No need to eat or sleep or perform other functions. Walk underwater, crush the heads of every opponent. The possibilities are limitless. Barring the occasional 30 years or so of paralysis, there's little to compare. Now stop talking so much. The wagging of its moist little tongue is distracting.
Shale, you're funny. We do have some crystals for Shale. Since that's what Shale seems to use. Kind of like large chipped. Take those off. Let's give Shale something better. Large clear fire crystal. It's a form of armor. I guess it goes here. Wow. How bright Shale is now. And a small clear fire crystal. There. That's its weapon. Plus, it's 2% melee critical chance, plus 3 all weapon damage, 15% fire damage, plus 15. Converts all damage to fire damage. Oh. Wouldn't be very good against Fire Demon, but other than that, it should work well. see if Morrigan has anything to say.
I await your command.
She seems a lot more friendly with me now. I'd like to ask you something.
So, full of questions, are you?
So, Flemeth is dead. What now?
Now I have enough time to study Mother's grimoire to find a way to prevent her from stealing my body in the future. For she will be back.
What?
One day, I have no doubt of that. And if I cannot protect myself, one day I will track her down again in whatever body she inhabits, and she will die again, and again if need be. But there is no need to think of such things now. I have you to thank for saving me, so let us return to the task of dealing with the Darkspawn, no?
I can't believe she thinks she's going to come back. Maybe she will. Well, I guess Morrigan would know better than I. You know, you can always rely on me, right?
Too much could happen in days to come to make such promises. Yet I am grateful. Let us go. There is much to be done before... There is still much to be done.
I've inspired her to the death. I think they get 4 inspiration. She's at 3. Wow, she very much approves of me. No, I like Morrigan a lot. She's handy, but I guess I can trust her now, I suppose. We've been with each other for over a month in the party. Not with each other. We're not interested in each other. Stan, do you have anything to say yet? Actually, I think that helmet goes along well with the armor. It's neat looking armor.
Yes.
I have a question.
I am hardly surprised.
Actually, never mind.
Very well.
Want to discuss something you mentioned?
Speak, then.
It's enough for now.
Then I suggest we move on.
What do you like, Stan?
As you wish.
What do you like? Alistair,
Something on your mind?
I have some questions.
Of course.
So how did you become a Grey Warden?
Same way you did. You drink some blood, you choke on it, and pass out. You haven't forgotten already, have you?
I mean before that.
Let's see. I was in the Chantry before. I trained for many years to become a Templar, in fact. That's where I learned most of my skills.
You don't seem like the religious sort.
You're telling me I was banished to the kitchens to scour the pots more times than I can count. And that's a lot. I can count pretty high. The Grand Cleric didn't want to let me go. Duncan was forced to conscript me, actually, and was she ever furious when he did. I thought she was going to have us both arrested. I was lucky.
Wow. Why did the Grand Cleric want to keep you?
I wondered that myself. It's not as if she valued me highly. I think she just didn't want to give anything to the Grey Wardens, is all. The Chantry didn't lose much. And I think I can do more fighting the Blight anyhow, rather than sitting in a temple somewhere. I'll always be thankful to Duncan for recruiting me. If it hadn't been for him, you know, I wouldn't have.
He was a good man.
He was. A good man who didn't deserve his fate. That much I'm sure of. Come on, let's go. I think I'm done talking.
I wonder if I have... I have a whole bunch of gifts. I wonder if I can give a few things to Alistair, or at least one. I don't know what Sten likes. Zevran seems to like Antivan leather. Wynn, I don't know what she likes. And Morrigan seems to like jewelry, but we're out of jewelry. Leliana seems to like things from Orlais. That's Alistair. Okay. Let's go down here. Silver bracelet. I think he'll like this. It's got Dwarven runes on it.
Oh, thank you.
Or maybe
That's
not.
Very nice.
Maybe not. I don't know. Locket. White rune stone. I don't know who would like that. White rune stone. Gold rune carved into it. We've got maps and paintings. Golden demon pendant. This gotta be something he would like.
Oh, thank you.
No.
That's very nice.
Didn't seem to like it that much. Well, I don't see anything else that he would like. Okay. That's enough then. The dog is still digging. Chester. Zevran.
What say you?
Can you teach others to be an assassin?
I could teach others, but not yourself. First, I would need someone who has training as a rogue. That is, unless you would care to spend the years it takes to gain the fundamentals. But if there should be such a person who desires this training, yes, by all means, send them to me. The crows are already furious, no? I shall enjoy tweaking their nose further.
Well, that worked.
What say you?
Care to answer some questions?
By all means.
So tell me about your adventures.
My adventures? I'm hardly an old man just returned from across the ocean, am I? Should I shake my fist at nearby children while I talk about the good old days?
You certainly talk like you've had adventures.
Falling down a flight of stairs is an adventure. Falling into someone's bed, also an adventure. I am assuming what you're looking for are professional anecdotes. Let's see, my second mission ever for the Crows was a bit intriguing. I was sent to kill a mage who had been meddling in politics.
Wow. The crows were willing to anger the Circle of Magi?
In Antiva, nobody is too important to escape the reach of the Crows. They've killed kings and queens. That is simply how it is. As it turned out, the mage in question was quite a delightful young woman. Long, divine legs, as I recall. I caught her in a carriage on her way to escape to the provinces. After I killed her guard, she got down on her hands and knees and begged for her life. Rather aptly, I might add. So I joined her in the carriage for the night and left the next morning.
After killing her anyhow?
Yes, but not on purpose, actually. The woman had actually convinced me to speak to the crows on her behalf. What can I say? I was young and foolish at the time. Then, as I was kissing her goodbye to return to Antiva City, she slipped on the threshold and fell backwards out of the carriage. Broke her neck. Shame, really, but at least it happened quickly.
Oh, that's crazy. Were you upset?
At first, yes. Well, not upset. Surprised is really a better word. Then I found out that she had told the driver to take her to Janellen instead. She had planned to lose me in the provinces. I would have looked very foolish to the crows. As it was, my master was very impressed that I had done such a fine job of making it look like an accident. The Circle of Magi was unaware of foul play, and everyone was happier all around.
These sort of things happen to you often?
Like being spared by a benevolent mark who then helps me escape from the crows? Yes, it does seem to happen now and again, doesn't it? It was after that when I learned that one needn't let a pretty face go to your head. Professionalism was key. That's my moral of the day, you see.
A wise lesson to learn.
And one that not everyone learns, I'm sad to say. But that's enough tale spinning from me for the moment. Talking about the mage has made me a bit nostalgic, I'm afraid. Ah, the good old days.
Very interesting, Zevran. And to Leliana.
Looking for little old me?
Well, you definitely sound different when you're talking to me. I'd like to talk to you about something.
Yes? What's on your mind?
You were a traveling minstrel. Do you often have do you have tales to share?
Of course I do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able to benefit from them, I think.
Tell me about Darkspawn.
Chantry law says it is man's pride that created the Darkspawn. In ages past, the mages of the Tevinder Imperium ruled much of the world we know. In their pride, they thought their magics invincible and imagined that they were greater than the Maker himself. So thinking, they invaded his golden city, planning to take it for themselves and depose their own creator. But they were impure and full of sin, and it is with the sin that they tainted the Golden City, corrupting it forever. The Maker cursed them and cast them from his sight. Wherever they went, they spread the taint of their sin. Any land that was touched by the taint became blighted and would suffer no life. Instead, the Darkspawn arose to torment us and remind us of our hubris.
Let's just move on. There was something else.
Looking for little old me?
I'd like to talk to you about something.
Yes? What's on your mind?
I heard that in Orlais, minstrels are often spies.
Where did you hear this?
I read it in a history book.
And did you not think that this could be historical fact and no longer true? Not all minstrels are spies. Most are just singers and storytellers, but some of them are what we call bards.
I thought minstrels were bards.
Many use the two words minstrel and bard interchangeably, but to do so in Orlais would cause misunderstanding. Bards are minstrels and more. Spies, as you say. Some say there is a bard order, but I don't think this is true. Many bards work alone or in small groups, doing the bidding of a patron who pays for their services. If there is an organization behind it all, no one knows who they are.
What sort of services does a bard offer?
What do you think? They infiltrate, steal, sometimes assassinate? It depends on the bard. In Orlais, there is much rivalry amongst the highborn. They fight over land, influence, and the favor of the Empress. But they cannot do this openly because it is impolite, and in public, they wear smiling faces and pretend to be civil. In secret, they plot and scheme to destroy each other. It is a game completely meaningless to anyone but its players.
You were a bard, weren't you?
I have revealed too much, it seems, but it doesn't matter what I used to be. It is the past.
But why were you living cloistered? Why were you living cloistered sister? That's not even spelled correctly. Why were you living as a cloistered sister in rural Ferelden?
I found myself in Ferelden and sheltered from bad weather in the Chantry. And when the storm passed, I just did not want to leave. I like to see the Maker brought me here.
Interesting. So she has her secrets as well. Kinda makes sense how she can fight that good. She never did explain. So she was a bard in Orlais. Let's talk to Wynne.
Is there something you need?
I'd like to ask you something about the circle.
I will answer to the best of my ability.
How did you become a mage?
People don't become mages. They are born mages. The talent just surfaces later. But you are asking how I ended up at the Circle. I was brought there by the Templars, just like many of the other apprentices. I don't remember very much. I was very young then.
How did they know you were a mage?
I set a boy on fire.
I'm sure it's a fascinating story.
I didn't have a family. I never knew my real parents. My earliest memory was of hiding in a hayloft on a farm, trying to keep warm. I was found, and the farmer's wife was kind enough not to send me away. But they had children of their own, and I was never made to feel welcome. The eldest son was the worst. He was always calling me a stray, and throwing anything he could get his hands on at me. And I don't know how it happened, but one day, he just found his hair on fire. Fortunately, there was a large trough nearby.
Serves him right.
He ran screaming, dripping head and all, to his mother. I was shut up in the barn, with a bowl of water and a crust of hard bread. The Templars arrived several mornings later.
What happened when you arrived at the tower?
I'll never forget the moment the Templars led me into the entrance hall of the tower. I had never seen anything so grand in my life. I stopped being afraid then. I knew I was home.
That's a great story.
Well, that's about all there is to my tale. That's how I came to the circle.
What was life like in the tower?
I would be lying if I said it was easy. First, there were rules, and we were constantly watched to make sure we behaved appropriately. Then there was the study of magic. We had to cast the spells just so, control the effects completely. A single word spoken incorrectly, a gesture out of sync, and lack of focus. And we needed to have perfect focus, or we would be in danger.
At least you learned the dangers of magic from the circle.
Without the circle and my mentors, I would not have been where I am today. And there was joy in life at the circle. The joys of fellowship, in knowing that you were not alone in your struggles. In spite of everything, I was happy in the tower, and I loved it.
There's nothing else I want to discuss right now. Okay, let's see if we can't give a useless rune. Turn in runes for the circle. Give all unassigned expert runes. It's just a slow rune, I think. Or no, it's undead. Leave.
Even the Templars will be impressed by the powers you will command.
Okay, I think that's everybody. Still can't get through to Sten. Canary are a strange lot. Alright guys, I'm going to end the video here. Thanks for watching, and more to come.